As you may know by now, Toyota has been rolling out some new software for their infotainment system, but something that I haven't really seen anybody talking about yet is that on a lot of the higher end models of Toyotas, they all share the same Speedo cluster / MID screen. So whether we're sitting in a Grand Highlander like we are here, or the Crown Hybrid Platinum, or this 2023 Highlander Platinum Gas, you will notice that they all share the same 12.3-inch LCD gauge cluster, and it's not only these three models. So you'll see that they're the same, and today we're going to discuss what the gauge cluster can do, how to change some of the settings, and how to modify it to fit your needs and style. Let's begin. So as we take a good look at the gauge cluster, the first thing you notice is we have a large left gauge and a large right gauge. Of course, before we start diving into the deep stuff, there are a couple other bits of information. For example, on the top left, we have the outside temperature. In the center, we have our digital speed. Below that, it says P because we're in park. And on the top right, we have the time. On all Toyotas, either on the left or right side of the steering wheel, you have a pad with 4 different arrows in all different directions with an OK button and a back button. These side-to-side and up and down arrows are going to go through the different menus inside of the gauge cluster. The OK button acts as a select. There will be times where we have to push and hold the OK button, and then the back button allows us to go back. So as we discuss the stuff inside the gauge cluster, you'll hear me say left, right, up, down, select, and back. That's what I'm talking about. So now that we're diving in, I'm going to push the right arrow, and you'll see we go into page 2. If I push the left arrow, I go into page 1, which is where we were before. So as I push the right or left arrow, you'll see that page number changes, and the information inside each gauge changes for you. This allows us to scroll through 6 different sets of information instead of 1 by 1 like it used to be on a regular sized MID. You'll notice as we push the side-to-side arrow and we see the different number for the page, it says hold OK to change settings. Once I push and hold OK, these little circles pop up. That lets me know that if I push the right arrow, I can now move inside of here, and I can change what the right gauge shows in and of itself, keeping the left gauge the same. So it's allowing me to customize page 1. Page 1 would be what each gauge shows individually, but together as a whole. Once I select what I want to see, I can actually move on to the right, and I can turn on and off some things. The reason why it's important to be able to select and deselect different items is to reduce redundancies. For example, I wouldn't want navigation to be on the right and then also navigation to be on the left. Just like I wouldn't want the eco indicator to be selected on the right because I already have eco indicator over here on the left. So though this might take a little bit of time to really pick what you want to show on each side, you can fully customize 6 different screens pretty much, because it's 3 total screens with 2 items of information per screen. Now, just like I can adjust the right, there's a little left arrow here that says go to the left. Now I can go up and down between the items that I already have pre-selected, or I can see that little left arrow and go over here to the middle, over to the left over here. Then I can toggle between the selected items, or go far left and select and deselect the available items to toggle between. So how do I make this even simpler? To make it as simple as possible, you can select what items are available, but if you push to the far outside of the menu, you can change what's available to select period. Then you go back to the options you left for yourself and pick which ones you want to show. Same thing on the other side. That next menu, you can go through the different items that you made available, but if you go to the far outside menu, you can pre-select what's even available to show on the inside menu. So it's a very visual setup that we have here. But if I push the right arrow again, I can start deselecting stuff that was deselected before so that I don't have redundancies. The redundancies would be items that are showing on the left that are also going to be showing on the right. What's the point of double information? Now, the last part of the video will make it even more simple to understand what you're looking at. When I push and hold the OK button, you're going to see those little adjustment bubbles pop up, but you're also going to see these two little white brackets. That lets you know which part of the screen you're about to adjust. So I'm going to push and hold OK again. If I go to the right, you see all those brackets move? There's two separate brackets. That means I'm adjusting the right gauge. If I go to the left, it's the middle part of the gauges. And if I go to the far left, I'm adjusting the actual left gauge. So those little circles that you see here, they just mean that there's different menus I can go through, but the two white brackets mean that that's where I am. So what that means to you is, the final part of the video is, when I push and hold OK, I can now also adjust the center of the screen. And I can see different stuff. So this is acting as a traditional MID. So those little balls represent the different menus available. So I'm pushing up and down here. So this is just a quick driving monitor, but if I go down again, I have settings. When I hit OK, I have some different settings here, which are just like a regular MID that we're all used to in our Toyotas. So I can change different settings here. So on this vehicle, for instance, I have the heads-up display. So if I push and hold OK, I can even change all of these different settings to the heads-up display, which is that reflector on the inside of the windshield. Lane trace assist, if I push and hold OK, I can change all this wonderful stuff about the lane trace assist. Blind spot monitor, if I push and hold OK, I can change the sensitivity and the brightness to that system. So we have some advanced settings here for all of the Toyota Safety Sense and non-Toyota Safety Sense related systems here, like the volume to my parking sonar, the sensitivity to my pre-collision system, the volume on my rear cross traffic alert like we're looking at, the parking sonar support brake I can turn on and off, road sign assist, I can change some settings here too as well. There's some vehicle settings here, push and hold OK. The dynamic radar cruise control settings, I can change the curve speed reduction. This is where I can change my opening adjustment level. I can turn on and off the hands-free for the hatchback. That's for my tire pressure system. The auto start stop settings. Rear seat reminder, if I don't like it, I can turn it off. And here's the meter settings. So if I push and hold OK here, I'm going to zoom out for this one. If I go to meter style, I can change this style to casual. Check this out. Here's the fun part. Smart, which is from the factory. Very modern. Here's tough for the rugged. Sport, one of my personal favorites, especially if you have the Hybrid Max. But we'll leave it to smart because Toyota deemed that, fitting for most people. Then I'll go back. I can customize literally everything here. And this is all within the center of the gauge cluster. The drive info items, trip A and B, pop-up display. I can turn off different things that pop up for me to look at, or go back to default. In conclusion, the 12.3-inch LCD gauge cluster display that we see here on this 2023 Highlander Gas shares most of its DNA with the same 12.3 we see on the Crown and the Grand Highlander, and soon to come more. I suspect to see this on higher end Camrys. I suspect to see it on more of the hybrid electric vehicles that are coming our way, and possibly the new trucks and 4Runner line. So I hope this video helped you. I tried to keep it as concise as possible. This new upgraded LCD gauge cluster can be a little confusing at first, but when you understand what it's trying to do, it's simply trying to let you fully customize what you see to enjoy two screens at a time instead of one. You'll really love how much information you can cram in here while keeping it simple, because Toyota's all about keeping things simple. And of course, things change a little bit when you go to different drive modes. But look at that. Toyota keeps things very simple for you. And let me know down below in the comments, please, if you liked this and if you found some value in it. This video does apply to multiple different Toyotas, so you'll see me linking this onto soon-to-come videos. And if there was something I missed or something you wanted to dive deeper on, everybody, you know where you can find me. I'm down in the comments helping you guys out as much as I can. I'd like to give a big shout out to my subscribers. You guys are the ones that keep me going. And my loyal watchers, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're being a ghost, please consider hitting the subscribe button so Toyota and YouTube know that I'm putting out useful stuff. But with that said, I will see you in the next one. This is Brian signing out. Peace.